Audio Jungle.
Man fatally shot by police after killing cousin in Raytown. A man who stabbed and killed his cousin in Raytown, Kingston, was fatally shot by cops who attempted to take him into custody. Residents told reporters he was known as Rashard. According to residents, around 3:30 p.m., the woman was stabbed and killed by her male relative. The injured woman was rushed to hospital where she was pronounced dead. She has since been identified as Naisha Williams, a 43-year-old mother of two. Following the incident, a police team responded to the scene. The police reported that during their attempt to apprehend the suspect, they were attacked. He was shot and killed. The Independent Commission of Investigation has been notified about the incident. No unlicensed entity was permitted to import buses, stated Voss. Transport Minister Darrell Voss said there is no truth to suggestions that a company, El Hydro, was permitted to import 110 used school buses into Jamaica despite not being certified or licensed to do so, following news report. The suggestion is reckless, false, and misleading, Voss said, indicating that the ministry is a documented licensed importer of all buses imported for the government's rural school bus program. The ministry also shared a copy of the imported license. El Hydro acted as a supplier for the ministry, given that they are the sole approved agency in Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean for the dealer manufacturer to make model or buses, which were imported, stated Voss. The minister said that based on contractual agreement, El Hydro had responsibility for sourcing, shipping and clearing the buses on arrival in Jamaica and handing them over to the ministry. The importation license obtained by the ministry was on the premises upon which the vehicles were allowed into Jamaica, he explained. Voss maintained that while El Hydro received permission from the Trade Board to facilitate the importation of the buses on behalf of the ministry, the company would not be required to be registered with the Trade Board as a used motor vehicle dealer. This is because school buses are specialized units which are not imported for resale, as would be the case for dealers who trade in the business of used vehicles. In addition, Voss said El Hydro was granted a permit by the Trade Board to import only 3 buses under a private pilot initiative. He maintained that this was issued in keeping with the motor vehicle importation policy. The minister also rejected assertions that the vehicles may not have been certified. The 110 buses were certified in 2025 as required by the United States Department of Transport's stringent criteria. The buses were assessed by specialist bus inspection entities, which operated in all 52 states in the United States and are approved by the Department of Transportation, stated Voss. He added that the Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC engineers visited the United States and conducted rigorous inspection of the buses. The Island Traffic Authority, which is the competent authority in Jamaica to conduct certification of vehicles, conducted rigorous certification processes and subsequently issued certification of fitness for the vehicles. Voss condemned what he described as misleading narratives concerning the government's transformative policy to implement a rural school bus system. Over $9 billion in property lost to fires in 2024, PIOG. The estimated value of property lost as a result of fires in Jamaica in 2024 exceeded $9 billion, an amount similar to 2023. It represents 3% of the estimated value of property at risk, $274.6 billion. The information is contained in the 2024 edition of the Economic and Social Survey Jamaica, an annual publication of the Planning Institute of Jamaica (PIOJ). The survey found that the total number of genuine fire calls to the Jamaica Fire Brigade in 2024 was 9,775, a decrease of 14.2% when compared to 2023. St. Catherine accounted for the largest number of fires, 2,174, followed by Kingston and St. Andrew, 1,884. 9 parishes recorded a decrease in fires, with the largest actual decreases observed in St. James, St. Mary, and St. Anne. This accounted for almost 2/3 of the overall decline. Some 1,759 malicious false alarms were made during the year, an increase of 24.5% when compared to 2023. Kingston and St. Andrew accounted for 32.1% of the total malicious false alarm calls made, followed by St. Catherine, 19.2%, and St. James, 7.6%, respectively. Meanwhile, the number of individuals directly impacted by fire increased to 1,742, which was 7.1% higher than in 2023. This was influenced by an increase in the number of individuals rendered homeless, primarily civilian adults, which increased by 6.7%, the survey noted. On the other hand, the number of deaths decreased by 15.6%. Civilian adults remain the category primarily affected by fires, accounting for 73.4% of the affected population. While there was no increase in the number of children who died because of fires, some 440 children were rendered homeless and 7 injured, an increase of 5.3% and 78.8%, respectively. Non-structural fires decreased by 16.2%, but remain the dominant fire category, accounting for 83.6% of the total. The decline was caused largely by the category bushfire, the single largest category, which fell by almost 30%. The number of structural fires also decreased by 2.4%. In terms of the geographical distribution of fires, St. Catherine and St. Mary accounted for the largest number of bushfires, with 1,170 and 538 incidents respectively, followed by Clarendon 422. St. Catherine also recorded the largest number of structural fires, 348, with 21.7% of such fires occurring in that parish. PNP bats for women in agriculture to set aside $9 billion. People's National Party PNP candidate for St. Elizabeth Southwest, Miranda Wellington, says women will be at the heart of the $9 billion plan to revive Jamaica's agricultural sector under the next PNP government. Speaking at the PNP Women's Movement rally at Manning School in Westmoreland on Sunday, Wellington declared that the party has a plan for women in agriculture. I represent the breadbasket parish of St. Elizabeth and one of the strongest farming communities, southwestern St. Elizabeth, she told cheering supporters. Wellington said the PNP's $9 billion agricultural fund will bring back agriculture in this country and is focused on increasing food production, training women, and creating jobs in the rural areas. The plan for women in agriculture is to empower them and to nurture back their nation to a solid foundation, supporting the school feeding program, she noted. Wellington explained that the plan includes training young women in entrepreneurship and in technical advancement in farming. She said she will ensure that our women get back lands to produce again. Women in agriculture, especially in rural areas, will have access to not only land, but also to the opportunity to bring back small businesses from the background, she added. She called women the key of national transformation. Women's empowerment in agriculture will allow you to send your children back to school, Wellington said, noting that women will be able to support their families through farming. Once we empower women back into agriculture in entrepreneurial advancement, we are setting the right standard for this country today, she declared. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.